Hello, welcome back to the channel. Well, as you can see here, the weather's kind of shifted on me, but that's all right because in the last video, I got all the painting done I needed to. It had time to cure before the rains moved in. So now we're ready to just start throwing this thing back together. Let's get right to work. Okay, first thing to do is get these grommets all figured out. So I was able to find some of them at the Deere dealership. Some of them are discontinued, but they did have a handful of them here. Oh, there's one. Nice. Oh, this is for the heater core into the base plate. They had that. I think that doesn't look like it's the right size though. We got this diagram with the part numbers here. These, oh, that's why. There we go. There we go. Okay, so the grommets I'm missing are this one, that one, and that one. So I measured the wall thicknesses here. These are around 0.35 and it's 1/4 inch on that back one. So we're gonna come back to this in a few days after I order something. I'm gonna have to see what I can find that I can make up for this. All the stuff I forgot to tape off when I was painting. These are the ground lugs for the cab, so they need to be pretty clean. Missed this little guy being broken off in here. See if we can get lucky. Come on, there we go. Oh. Nope. Actually, it might be better to do this from below. Might as well get the rest of these. Can't reach that one. All right, well, this may be a surprise, but there's a lot of nuts to chase with the tap on this thing. But they are all done. One thing I noticed, we're missing a captive nut right there. That's probably okay. Most of these are just M10 by 1.5. Almost forgot about this thing, but there's quite a few in here. By the way, a couple quick things on this. A huge thank you to the subscriber that sent me this set of tap wrenches. This is something I didn't even know existed, but they hold the taps really well. It's very convenient. The second thing is you got to set your drill so it's not at the max torque limit, it'll click. If you don't do that, it's going to catch and you're going to break a tap off. I've done it many times. I found this stuff at McMaster. I got 2 different sizes. It's like some kind of edge trim. That's the thicker one. Yeah, that's the bigger one. This one might be too big. Yeah, no, that'll work. And this is for the smaller size. I don't think I can bend this very well, so it might be best to do this in sections. So this opening is for the pilot hoses, and I do have hose protection for when they go through here, so I'm not super worried about this. This is just kind of extra protection. That might work. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. It's gonna just want to pop off right there. All right, well, we'll see if that holds. It ain't pretty, but they're in there pretty good. The side pieces actually mechanically hold everything together. And then I did bond the corners with super glue, which I think this is either like Buna or nitrile or a material like that, which bonds when you use super glue on it. It bonds well enough where if you try to rip it in half, it'll rip the rubber before it rips the bond. So I don't think these are gonna go anywhere. If you look what was in here before, it's just this flimsy little thing. All right, brand new wiring harness. Best way to do this here. May need to consult some pictures. So this goes over there. I gotta put so much stuff on it. Let's see. So that goes over there. Over here is this. I don't remember where that came from. Not sure where this goes. Don't recall seeing any of those. This. Pretty sure those went in there though. Maybe. Sure. Resist. Don't know. This connector and this one were not on the original harness, and I think I'm guessing this is for the pump, because there's like 4 or 5 sensors and solenoids on the pump, and I don't see any connectors for them. I think there's a separate pump harness on some machines. Mine does not have a separate one. It's all part of the same. So I'm gonna have to, they should have sent me a third harness then if this is missing, which I do not have. So they must have not sent that to me, which I bought this a year ago, so they're probably not gonna remember me. All right, this is a bunch of stuff I pulled off the frame. I just washed it all, so I'm gonna try to remember where this stuff goes. I think there's about 5 different sizes of clamps. There's a hidden one in here. So there was a ground on each corner of the cab plate. That's what these are. That's the next evening. These are on there pretty good. I think this went to the starter or just the engine. Okay, I'm just looking at old pictures here so I can see like which clamp. For instance, that one goes right there. I remember it went there, that nuts for that. So I'm just putting stuff back where it was. Basically every section. So I can remember where all these clamps went, because there is a lot of clamps. And every fastener that I took out. All right, the horn here. We'll swap these out with ones that play La Cucaracha later. All right, guys, I apologize for the noise, but it's a little bit rainy out here. Anyway, wiring harness is mostly in. It's kind of like roughed in. It's in like some of the clamps, but nothing's tightened down, so I can slide stuff around. It's a little bit different than the original one. For instance, the branch that goes over there, that used to come off of like right here, and then you would run it around. But this one's different. That's okay. I mean, I'm just kind of nitpicking. Then also this loop right here and this loop were in the original harness. It's just a little bit of slack there. But I'm gonna probably end up moving that around. Anyway, the next two things I want to get done before I put the valve body in and start running pilot lines is I want to get the heater hose run. And that went up on there. There was like some kind of frame right there. And then I want to get the fuel line run because the fuel line runs right underneath the valve body. By the way, this thing's been sitting out here for about a month in the rain. And you might notice like spots like this where it looks like maybe it's rusting through the paint. But that's actually just a stain from when I tapped out all the holes. Those are just flakes that are rusting. So there's really, like right there, it's not rusting through. That's just a stain. So don't panic. At least I'm not panicking. You don't have to panic either. What about that one? See? And it gets a little slippery up here when it's been raining. Let's see. Oh. I think there was a piece of foam that went, it was either in here or between the counterweight and this thing. I don't know. I'll have to find out. Yeah, that foam 100% went between there to keep it from vibrating. So I had to check to see if it runs through here. Yeah. Not a lot of places to stand around here. I think this kind of just... Did it go under the wiring harness? I don't think so. This came over like this. And it just, basically, I looked at an old picture. It's basically just, it was all curled up in here, but we'll just run it straight. Give myself some slack here. These just go in here. I think the hole is like right here where they go in the cab. All right, so for fuel line, I think it's just 3/8 inch. I think that's what it was before. And then I just got normal fuel line and I'm wrapping it in this is like a fiberglass. And it's like an anti-wear shield too, but it's also flame retardant. Any fires will probably be hydraulic related, not fuel related, but whatever. At least it'll keep it from getting worn through. Just this in here. Here. Uh-oh, there goes that bolt. There we go. All right, that was a lot of fun. So we're in there. And, you know, I just keep looking back at the old pictures, and it was a mess in here, stock. I mean, there's not really a super neat routing for this stuff, apparently. Those two loops in the wiring harness really bug me. This connector right here, this is for the pump. On my wiring harness, there was not a separate harness for the pump. So I'm not sure if that's just maybe it's a later serial number or maybe aftermarket. It's really common to replace the pump harness because like your exhaust rots out and then it fries all the pump wiring. Really common issue. I guess they did short me on the pump harness, and I got one here finally. So this is the same. This is the male version of this connector, and then this is all the pump stuff. I'm not going to put this on yet. There's no point. And but anyway, it runs right through here and then through this, and then plugs into the pump. Just want to show you here. You definitely need some foam in there, but I think we're ready to throw the valve body in. The goal here is to get that in and then get the shuttle valves in, like the lock valve, get all that set in with all the hoses. But I have a bunch of stuff. I got to rebuild all this stuff first. So let's jump over to the shop and rebuild all that, and then we'll bring everything out here and install it. Okay, things are about to get a little bit tedious in this video. I want to get the main valve block in and the shuttle valves and the solenoid valve body in. This stuff all needs to be rebuilt. This has already been rebuilt except for the relief valves, which are right here. We'll get into that in a second. So I need to redo those. I already went ahead and I pre-ordered everything I need to rebuild this, plus a few other things which I'll get to in another video. So that's what all this stuff is. There's hundreds, possibly even more O-rings and stuff like that in here. There's just bags and bags of basically everything I'm going to need to finish out this project, at least on the upper structure. We got a lot of O-rings here. Okay, once that's done, ignore this blown up engine right here. That's something else. I'm going to start making all the hoses. So I went through and I measured every single pilot hose, which is a -4 or a -6 size hose that I'm going to need. And I ordered all the fittings and basically everything I need to do all the pilot hoses. And then I've had this crimper here for a year, which I have not opened. Looks like the mice have already checked it out for me. That's nice. All right, this is the differential pressure sensor. These O-rings are a little bit crispy. Where's the seam? There it is. So backup ring goes towards the nose. We're back to washing our hands every 5 minutes. By the way, I'm basically using almost all Deere O-rings and such, and that is because that's like for a convenience thing, because I can pre-order what I need for a project instead of having like to measure everything and take guesses. I think that's where this goes. If you saw the video where I rebuilt the valve body, I basically stopped when I got to these relief valves, because in the manual it shows that you can like take them apart and there's a bunch of O-rings and seals inside that you can replace. But I guess it turns out you can't actually do that. Quite a few people try to help me, and I think what's going on is it's like a liability thing. They don't want you to mess around with the internals on this because it could cause like a fatal accident probably. So I'm just going to replace the O-rings and the backup ring. I think it's the same part number for all 7 of these. Yeah, these things are pretty. So basically the only solution I found was to buy new valves, which these are, Hitachi ones are like $1,000 each or more, 2,000 maybe. You can buy cheap Chinese ripoffs for like 150 each. So let's see if these are the right size. Seems right. Seems right. Yeah, that seems good. This is number 4 right here. This one is really full of some stuff. I don't really want to hold it over the clean stuff, but so I got this one pretty cleaned out, but it still just does not look like, it looks like it's been rusted or something a little bit on the inside. So this may be bad. We'll see which circuit it goes on when I put it back on. This is number 2 on the top. I'm guessing it's probably the boom circuit, since that one had a ton of water in it and there was some rust in the valve body. All right, this is the lock valve. Unfortunately, I don't have all the backup rings that I need for this, so I'm going to take it apart first here to get these old ones measured. Also, according to all the pictures, I think this rod is supposed to be straight. So I went through all these and stamped everything. There's like tape on here, but I've stamped like this is JB1 and I've stamped everything. It's basically like a 3-year-old should be able to put this back together when I'm done with it here. Just push this out. No. Same thing over here. I think these white backup rings are the ones I can't find, so I might have to reuse those. They actually look to be in okay condition. Milky fluid in here. A few of these fittings had like screens on the inside, which were very plugged up, by the way. I'll have to check the parts diagram and see which ports they go on. So on here, there's no O-rings for the fittings or parts numbers for the fittings that go in this thing. So if you want to find that, you got to go to these other pages. In here, all the highlights are O-rings that I ordered. But so here's the lock valve here. So here's the which fittings go where, and then which O-rings are on those fittings. There's 2 of those. Okay, so it's 24 and 13 that have the filters. So that would be the ones that go on this side. The other painful part here is that a lot of these O-rings, the part numbers have been like changed to a new part number, so you can't get the originals anymore. So when I went to order it, I had to come up with like this spreadsheet. This is everything that I ordered here with all the new part numbers for a lot of these old part numbers. So when I ordered it, I ordered the new part number, but I'm using the old part number from the parts manual, so it's just kind of a huge headache to cross-reference all this stuff, but we'll get through it. Washer. With this facing up. Does that O-ring have to get seated better? There we go. Ooh, that's a bit tighter than it was before. Probably a good sign. All right, this is the filter one. All right, looks like we go here and there and like that. This same sensor is in several of these blocks. It's the same part number. 4. Ooh. Bit of goop in there. Oh, a spring just fell out. What was that? Where'd that go? Did you see it, Charlie? Is this what fell out of the other one? Found the spring. It was actually on the base of my chair. So springs, yeah, spring, okay, good. We got springs in there. A lot of water in here, that's nice. I think you pushed the plungers through from the other side maybe. Those are going through, this one is locked up. There we go, jeez. There is fair amount of moisture in here. Ugh. Oh, there's a ball. Was there? There it is. Okay, good. Springs in here. Very milky insides. But there's one more plunger in here that has an O-ring on it. I'm not sure how you're supposed to get it out. I think I just got it. You gotta stick a pick in through this hole, and then there's a notch in this plunger, and you can pop it out, but it's still not coming all the way out. Oh, there we go. Oh, there's the ball. Caught it. There you go. Did I lose that really small ball? Uh-oh, oh, there it is. Put this in first before I lose it. It's this one, right? Maybe I need to drop it in there. believe. These. There. Looks like this one goes up there. These are all the same part number, right? Oh, this one has a little like cutout in there for the spring, I think. Does it look different from those? Yeah, so this one's definitely got to go right here. Good thing I'm paying attention. These just go here. And uh-oh. Where did that go? Did that fall out? That's in there tight. All right, there we go. Bad idea to use an impact because it's just going to end up rounding them out. There we go. Ooh, it feels like they might have Loctite on them. Nope. Just really tight. Plug here, right? Ooh, my hands are dirty again. Alrighty. Okay, for some reason I had forgotten about doing this, but I still have to. So this actually looks a little bit complicated. Not as bad as the valve block, but the instructions are kind of ambiguous about if you're supposed to take this apart at all, but I'm going to go ahead and try it. Anyways, I want to keep track of where these go. There's these labels here, SH, SB, SA, but I'm going to use a label maker because these are like, I don't know if they're plastic or really thin aluminum, but I don't want to be stamping in stuff. It'll probably break them. There's a little hole there. There we go. Right there, and that's it. Now the question is, did I find these replacement O-rings? Let me check real quick, because I know I had a hard time finding something. This one's got pipe dope on it. It looks kind of like a taper fitting. Not sure what that's about. There's another plunger in there. Oh boy. Is that in the drawing? Kind of. Oh yeah, these rings are, there's like 2 shims on here. It shows it going like this. I started taking this apart when I did the valve body, and I don't quite remember what I was doing, obviously. This might, yeah, I don't know. We'll just leave that for there for now. So does this is supposed to go, okay, well, don't worry about that for now. Oh, there's something else in here. Yeah, I think I had these springs in the wrong spots because I remember I had taken it apart and kind of just thrown it back together. I put something back together wrong though, that's the point. This was supposed to go in here, so that was wrong. And then the smaller spring, see there's 2 springs, the smaller one's supposed to go in there. And then on this one, you went spring, and then this, and then like that. Okay. All right, so that's how you take it apart. All right, try to keep this organized a little bit, because we're going to be doing a lot of these. Ooh, some goop in this stuff. Was there a spring in there? This one has like a pin. That's all those. There's some other random bits in here. Guess let's see what we can get out of here. Not scratching anything. Okay. The washer in there. One more thing in here. Ooh. Okay. And what about this? Ooh, where'd this come from? Probably not important. We'll just put that aside for now. I think this may have fallen out of here. I'll tentatively put it in this pile, but that's why I didn't want to flip this thing upside down. A lot of this stuff is just stuck in here. Okay. All right, there's some screw-in ports here. Let's take these out. There's like a little screen in there. Nope. There's one. That was that one. We'll get those out later. There is like a little hole in here to get. These things are so stuck. There we go. Jeez. Yeah, look at that ring of rust. I don't know if that's what's causing it to stick. It's got to be. This is aluminum, but is there anything on the bottom of here? It's like some kind of, oh, just lost it. A couple of spring washers. So when I pulled the spring washer out, it went into here, and then I dug out, and there was 2 of them. So I think one went in here, one went in here. At least that's what the parts diagram shows, is one goes in each. So I split those up. Those are gonna work. There we go. That was easy. That O-ring's falling apart. There's our spring washer. Easy. Yes. This one has one of those plugs in it. Why they gotta make this stuff so complicated? If I could do it without wrecking the aluminum, it'd be really good. Which one is this? Really just the O-ring surface around the outside that I got to be careful of, but the fewer scratches the better. This one is not cooperating. I've scratched that up. Got this one. Jeez. I'm gonna have to go and clean up those burrs I just put in it. This one was really stuck. So it's just nothing else in here, right? It's just this thing. Ooh, spinning in the bore, that's a good sign. Maybe if I twist and pull. Oh, that's gonna work. I can kind of lift it up with this, and then I'll grab it with that and see if this works. Yes? Oh, it's got suction. I think I got it. Holy cow, that was hard to get out. So I had to rotate this till one of these holes was lined up in here, and then I could kind of push up and then pull. By the way, if you're feeling left out, like you don't know what's going on, I'm right there with you. I have no idea. I'm just taking this apart for some reason right now. Let's see if we can figure this thing out. So I think this comes out. Oh, yep. And then these things are pretty locked up in here. Not very springy. We got a spring and this thing. As long as this diaphragm's okay, I think we're golden. Because I didn't actually look up the part for that, but I'm guessing it's impossible to find. And they're all springy and don't have holes in them, so I'll try to keep it that way. Does this come off? Yeah, these are pretty cooked. Yeah. This is why we're here, this kind of stuff. that's everything in here. This was the blank one. Ooh, this one's still good. And I forgot to read the instructions for this whole part, but I guess I got it apart without breaking anything, so hopefully I didn't miss a step. There didn't really seem to be any adjustments to make anymore, so I'm sure we're okay. We're on the home stretch here of removing O-rings. This is how many I've removed in this video, by the way. This is just an O-ring that's sitting. This is weird. The parts diagram shows us too. It's an O-ring that sits on this really thin washer that sits in here. And then I think this comes out. Let's see. By the way, there were some shims hiding inside this cap. I had to magnet out, and there was like a ton of dirt in between the shim and the housing. So I'm glad I got those out, because these things are so dirty. Ooh. Oh, yeah, this is just a little lid. Nope. Does the screen come out? Just leave that there. I don't actually see the ball on the parts diagram, so we'll just leave that be. Okay, so I'm just coming in here and gently removing all the burrs I put on here. I don't know if you can see this. Looks like some kind of caveman came in here and ripped all these flanges up. So I don't think it's a big problem, because the O-ring surface is on the outside, and there's really nothing there. But at the same time, I don't want any burrs sticking up. I don't want pieces of aluminum breaking off and getting into the hydraulics. So I'm just gently, just on the inside, removing any burrs. I've already kind of done it a little bit, and I've gotten a little high spot right there. I think these will still seal okay. I mean, this countersink is a little bit dinged up here too. Just these two that were really hard to get off. I had to really kind of put some force on it. This aluminum housing is really tricky dealing with this when they're all jammed up like they were. This is an ultra fine Scotch pad. It's the same Scotch pad I used when I was rebuilding the pump. So I'm gonna just clean these up. Okay, we got everything cleaned up and organized. I got all the O-rings over there I'm going to need, and a nice clean work area, so let's get to it. I did look through the manual to figure out what this stuff was. This right here is the main relief valve for the pilot system. This right here is called the reducing valve. This right here is just a blank, it's not used. That was that plate that was over it. This one up here that was a little bit different is the on-off solenoid, and then these other 6 were the proportional solenoids for each hydraulic function. A couple things I found too is that none of this stuff, like, you can't replace any of these parts except for the O-rings. Like, if this is bad, you have to replace this whole thing, like all this. It all comes as a set. It seems like there's not even part numbers for this stuff. Also, there was a ton of corrosion, like on the tops of these where water had been sitting, and then in between where the O-ring and the sleeve go. All 3 of these, like on almost all of these, there was a little bit of, I don't know if it was rust or whatever, but I soaked all these in Evaporust, and now they're a lot cleaner. So anyway, this was SD, which is here. So let's start with that, I guess. I believe we had this little spring washer first. By the way, thanks to Wendy, a subscriber, sent me a new set of picks, which on keeping these as the clean ones. Hopefully these fit. I remember reading this in the manual. The only thing it really says is that the holes, is it these holes or is it this hole? I think it's these holes have to face towards the port, which the ports come out right here. So I think that's really the only rule. Oh, got it. This guy had, I think this washer went on here in the spring. Well, that's a lot more free than it was before. Okay, and then just had the spring in here. They were like 27 millimeter outside diameter and then a 2 millimeter thickness, which I'm hoping is thick enough. But there's quite a bit sticking up over this housing, so I think it's going to be okay. And what are we torquing these to? 2.2 foot-pounds. That is about 26 inch-pounds. Really riveting stuff here, guys, huh? Okay. Last thing is we got to put this little filter, and they did have some particles in them. You'd be surprised. So anyway, I'm not sure which way these go in if it matters. So we'll do them like that. Of course, that went in upside down. And then this guy. Not sure how tight that has to be. Probably fine. Just try to keep this plate installed over the that spring washer without anything getting, bound up or whatever. Okay, so same thing. These will line up with this, I hope. This is just the block off one. I don't think it really matters. Bubble. By the way, when I cleaned these off, I was really careful to not get any brake cleaner or solvent or anything on this diaphragm, and then I oiled it back up as soon as I was done cleaning it. Uh-oh. This is SH and I'm on port SI. Dang it. I don't think I want to interchange any of this stuff. There we go. One thing I did find on these little filters is they are kind of like rounded on one side, and it does fit in here pretty good. So I think you have to be a little bit careful though when you put these in, because these filters will kind of roll around in the bore, and this might not seat all the way because it's seated right up inside there, right? So I'm putting them in like this now, which I think is working a little bit better. And you can see if it's seated properly when you look in there. I had to redo one on the other side. Come on. And this one had this C-clip on it, which I never removed. I think this went in. Was it in there? It's got to be. Oh. And this solenoid doesn't have a spring. It just has this little... This thing, is this rotating here? Yeah. Almost done with the O-rings, at least for this video. So this one, this plate goes in, and then an O-ring. And then I think you're just maybe supposed to put this all on at the same time. I remember pulling this out. Just have to. Is that in there? Oh yeah, we're good there. Okay, that'll work. So full disclosure, I started taking this thing apart like a year ago, and I got like these off, and there was 2 springs, one on each side, and they're different springs. And when I pulled it back apart, this one was in here, but I'm pretty sure this is the right spring. I kind of remember maybe swapping them whenever I did this. So I'm not 100%, but I'm like 75% sure this is the right one. It doesn't really say very well, but I think these go in line with this, maybe. Just to get it lined up here. So. Just gonna go in. Yep. There's a little indent on here and a little ball that this rides on. And this was sitting too far in there to engage. I'm not really a fan of hammering on it, but there's not any sharp edges down in there, so it's not like it's gonna cut the O-ring. And we got some shims that go down in here. Just getting this in here without it falling apart is probably the trick. Goes in there. And I did not order one of the O-rings that I was supposed to, so we'll have to match one up. And I think I had to bend these tabs back in probably. And then we got, I think this washer went in next. Okay. Then we got spring. We had shims in here too. Now I think there's an O-ring. It doesn't really show it in the manual, but it's in the, well, it's in the parts diagram, but not in the manual. I think you just put it in. Looks like it kind of goes over that piece that I just put in there. And we're tightening this down to 18 pound-feet. There's no torque spec for this one, but I'll assume it's the same. Nice. Ooh, that didn't feel good. I think I like pushed something in a little bit. I don't like the feeling of that at all. What's going on? I just looked at an old picture, and this guy is bottomed out in there. So I think it was just kind of settling everything in. It just felt kind of, it didn't feel good. Like I felt like I was pushing something or breaking something, but I think it's okay. Let me just see if it torques now. There we go, okay. All right, these fittings up here are for some reason tapered, and they had sealant on them. Actually, I think they had like Teflon tape on them, but we'll go ahead and use thread sealer. This is going in really far. This is not the correct Loctite. I'm just using Loctite Blue, but there is, what is it, 545 I think is the one you're supposed to use for hydraulic fittings. But I've used this before on hydraulic lines and it didn't cause any trouble. It just needs to cure. Okay. Looks like about right. I gotta get all these pointed the same way too. And so one goes there, there, and last one. Best way to do this here. Okay. Yeah, like that. Ugh. Oh, that's on my hand. Can I do this without breaking anything? Okay. Yep. Oh yeah, that's gonna work. Yeah. The cinder block will be good for the paint. Make sure we're not on any fittings like this one. believe there were some hard lines that went from this to this. I'll have to go look through the pile. See, I believe this goes in. There's already, one of these has a blank on it, so I think that one goes here. I actually went and ordered more -6 caps, which is this size. There's a bunch of stuff to cap up, and it's going to take a while to get all the hoses on, and this stuff's going to be outside, so. Okay, I found these 3 lines and cleaned them out mostly. Gold and purple. Okay, that's the, is that this one? That's this one. Okay. Doesn't quite want to fit. Should be able to turn that. There we go. Ow. And then this should just... Oh, that's beautiful. Probably should put these on after it's on the machine because I'm going to end up smashing these probably, but it's too late to go back now. This looks pretty good. Probably don't want this stuck in here. Oh, we're hitting the roof up there. Oh, that's not good. We're just shy of where we need to be too. Dang it. Maybe I could go up. If I go up over the roof, that would make a lot more sense. Uh-oh. That doesn't sound good. That's not good. Okay, well this thing is broken. Watch it, you kind of turn and it's catching. There's something that's not. This is my fault. I should have remembered this thing goes really high. I should have raised it up above the roof, like moved it forward, raised it up, and then moved it back. But I wasn't really thinking, so. There we go. Oh man. That is a shame. And we are in trouble. See how it's gonna have to be able to find another way to lift this. This thing's lifting days are over. It's really heavy too. I can't well, maybe I can just brute force it. Give that a shot maybe. I'm gonna have to fix this before I put the engine in though, or like anything else. Yeah, just these teeth are all chewed up. Oh man, that's really heavy. It's not even moving. All right, well, it's been a while since I've been to the ER, so let's just go ahead and try this. Oh boy. Is that not moving? really see any way this could go wrong. I mean, trail jacks are usually really safe, right? Oh boy. How far up are we? Get it up. Oh, that's too far. Can't believe this is working as good as it is right now. I think I've actually cleared the roof. As long as you hold it to keep it from falling over, it's not that bad. Look at that. Okay, easy, easy. Man, it feels like this one's about to break too. Not turning easy. There we go. Okay, I think that is going to clear. Let's give it a shot. All right. Success. Actually, I just realized there's 4 holes showing on there and 3 over there, so this thing is not even though it looks almost even. So I need to raise the left side up. Uh-oh. I think this gear might be about to go too. Oh, yep. That was it. So, new strategy. I think I might have to get that skid steer working sooner than I thought. Because unless I can find replacement gears for this, I'm kind of in trouble. I don't want to do this every time. That's terrifying. Oh. I think this thing is just old. It's been sitting out too long. Wasn't meant to be outside. This thing's been out for like 2 years, I think, right? Whoa! This thing is about to roll off. There we go. Probably shouldn't stand right under this thing. Uh-oh. Oh. Dang it. I was kind of hoping I'd have to do this twice, so it's okay. It still is not going to be high enough. I'm going to have to raise the sides up. All right. You know, honestly, it is getting a little late and I'm feeling a little bit lazy. I think I can cheat this thing over the counterweight. I guess it doesn't hurt to try. What's the worst that could happen? Yeah. Oh, the hydraulic lines are dragging. All right, never mind. Uh-oh. Come on. There it is. Oh boy, it's sliding over. Let's not do that. Oh yeah, we got it. We're home free. Not gonna lie, this was more work than I thought it was gonna be. Not sure why. Oh no, that fell off. This seems safe. There we go. Man, this thing is really falling over. There we go. I think it's kind of flexing. The legs are flexing. It's gonna be a little bit tricky to get this in here. No, just gotta wait for it to swing back in the right spot. Problem is this thing wants to flip forward. Oh, nice. Maybe. Why does this got to be so heavy? Oh, okay, don't fall off. Don't fall off. Where are you going? Not good for the paint job. There we go. Yes. Yes. Oh, I think I got it. Just give me a bolt, please. One bolt hole. Hindsight being 2020, I should have messed with these slings to get it to kind of angle in right. It's all right. Here goes the bolt. Got two in. Oh, we did it. that was difficult. A little bit. Not too bad, actually. I think had I actually positioned this correctly, it would have gone in a lot easier. So I do have all these shuttle valves ready to go back in, but I don't have enough caps. I ordered a bunch more. These -6, what are these, 37 degrees JIC caps. So once I get those in, I'll put the rest in. I like to get everything situated here before I start putting all the hoses in. That's kind of the idea. All right, I guess I should get at least one shot in the daylight here. So a little rough last night, but not too bad. So there's a lot of like wiring and stuff I want to get kind of figured out here before I get too far with the hoses. So it's going to be kind of a process, I think, just getting everything clean and put back right. Earlier in the video, I think I promised that I was going to get some hoses made, but that was a lie, obviously. It just took a long time to get that solenoid valve rebuilt and just a couple other things, little small stuff that was slowing me up. So we'll just go ahead and release this video now, and then the next one's going to be hoses, putting the cap plate back on and getting all that run. I still have to rebuild the pilot, like the hand controls and the foot controls. So we'll get into that probably next video. I had some time to think last night. I'm a little bit less worried about this crane. I think it'll be easy to fix. I'll just get a couple of those like hand crank winches. I think Harbor Freight sells them. And I think all I would have to do is just like mount it here or weld it in here and then run the cable through it. I mean, that should be pretty easy. So I was initially worried, like, how am I going to lift the engine and the cab back on? But I think it'll be okay. This poor crane, I mean, it basically is going to have to be scrapped after I'm done. I mean, there's a couple parts I can save, like that top beam didn't come with it. That's I added that in because it had to make it wider. But these side pieces, basically junk. I mean, they've split open a couple times from filling with water, and I had to re-weld them, and it's just not the best. Anyway, I guess the closest analogy would be this is like the brains going back into the patient. So we did make some progress in this video. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. I also noticed we hit 100,000 subscribers, which is crazy to me. Never thought that would happen. So if you subscribe, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. And I'll catch you on the next video.